Hey everyone, welcome back to Playing Quietly. My name is Ryan, and today I am bringing you another Remnant 2 video. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite new weapons in the Dark Horizon DLC, and that is, of course, the Dark Matter Gauntlets. These are a super fun melee weapon that have a lot of versatility to them. So these weapons are actually really easy to obtain. All we need to do is kill the last boss in the Dark Horizon DLC, while also taking out one of the two crystals at the end of one of the two crystal holding dungeons in the Dark Horizon DLC. Now that may change at some point, however, when I did my initial playthrough, I only destroyed one of the crystals and I was still awarded the gauntlets. At some point that may change, and I suspect that it probably will, and you are going to have to take out both of the crystals. So just keep that in mind. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weapon itself. At max level, we are going to be doing 150 base damage with a critical hit chance of 5%, weak point damage of 110%, and a stagger modifier of 5%. The flavor text here says the gauntlets harness the power of a neutron star and a black hole. When merged, cosmic forces are unleashed. So the Dark Matter Gauntlets have a baked-in mod to them called Kilonova. It says here, charged melee empowers the gauntlets for 15 seconds, increasing standard melee damage by 25%, and causing charged melee attacks to release an 8-meter penetrating blast. Each blast reduces the duration. While empowered, performing a charged melee attack during a neutral backdash gathers power for up to 5 seconds, then fires a darkness beam that deals melee damage every 0.5 seconds. The beam duration equals its time charged, then ends Kilonova after firing. So that was kind of a lot, so let's just take a look at what that is going to look like in practice. So of course we have our standard melee hits. And again, these do come out quite fast. If we charge our attack, we empower the gauntlets, and we get a stronger strike. If we throw out a charged strike during the empowerment, we see we are able to throw a ranged punch, and it can even penetrate. If we empower the gauntlets, then do a neutral backdash, we can charge and fire the darkness beam, which is of course also going to penetrate. Now it should be noted that this penetrates enemies, but not walls. Now, I said that these are extremely versatile, and I really mean that. There's a lot of build potential behind these items. So a pretty standard mutator to put on these is definitely going to be Steadfast. Steadfast is going to turn these into an unstoppable powerhouse. Steadfast, if you weren't aware, our charge attacks cannot be interrupted and gain 10% damage reduction from all sources. All damage taken during a charged melee attack is converted to gray health when we level Steadfast up to 10. If we use this with Steadfast, it is going to turn us into a punchy little tank, and it is super fun to work with, and we aren't going to be able to be knocked out of our attacks. We're also able to even link these, so just during that charge up phase when we're empowering the gauntlets, we're not going to be able to be hit out of that. If we link our punches, we're not going to be able to be hit out of that, and even when we are charging up like this, we are not going to be able to be hit out of this phase. And also, I'm sure you guys could tell that this weapon solves a big part of what melee suffers from in this game, in that a lot of bosses are going to be out of our range for portions of a lot of the fights, but even just the empowered strikes have quite a bit of range on them. And if we take a look at the darkness beam, we can see it has a pretty huge range on it as well. Now, as I said, Steadfast is probably going to be the standard. However, there are definitely some other really fun options. Dervish is another really good one. If you are able to get off the Darkness Beam with something like Dervish, if we take a look at the cooldown on our skill, you see that is going to speed it up significantly. Another really cool one added in the Dark Horizon DLC is Volatile Strikes. This one is going to add an explosion onto our melee attacks that can happen every second. And that explosion is not an insignificant amount of damage. We see that that's hitting for 835, I think? Yeah, 835. That is definitely a significant chunk of damage right there. And the explosion is of course going to be triggered by our charge attacks as well as our Darkness Beam. Now, something that I have found very strange, and I am still trying to figure this out, if anyone can point me to a resource that has the answer to this, for some reason the Blood Jewel does not seem to be affected by the Darkness Beam. It is affected by the regular charged attacks, but if we take a look here, the Darkness Beam is not affected by the Blood Jewel. Alright guys, so that about does it for this one. The Dark Matter Gauntlets are definitely one of my favorite new additions to the Dark Horizon. I do have some build guides coming out for the Dark Matter Gauntlets, however, I'm trying to take my time and really put in some research so I can bring you some really good high quality build guides. So they are taking a little bit longer than my usual where to find them videos. So that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, hopefully I have earned your subscription. Don't forget to check back for more videos coming out all the time. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. Have yourselves a good one.